Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have another interesting, mind-blowing Reddit story. So without wasting any time, let's start it. They say you never truly know someone until you live with them. I've known Sarah for 12 years, but it only took 28 days for her to turn my life into a pile of ash. I thought I was being a hero by letting her move in when she lost her job. Now, I'm sitting in my car with everything I own in 3 trash bags, staring at a notice to vacate, taped to the door of the apartment I've paid for by myself for 3 years. She didn't just take my guest room, she took my future. My name is Jenna, 26F. A month ago, I had a perfectly fine life. I worked as a junior paralegal in Charlotte. I had a 720 credit score and a cute 1-bedroom apartment that was my pride and joy. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. Then Sarah called. Sarah has always been the messy friend. She's the one who forgets her wallet at dinner, the one who has a new soulmate every 3 months, the one who always needs a ride to the airport at 4 a.m. But she's also the person who was there for me when my mom passed away. I felt like I owed her a lifetime of loyalty for that. Jenna, please, she sobbed over the phone. My landlord is a creep. He's kicking me out because I couldn't make rent this month, and I have nowhere to go. Just 2 weeks? Until my first paycheck from the new retail job starts. I should have said no. My lease strictly says no long-term guests. But I looked at my empty guest room, which I used for yoga and storage, and I felt a wave of guilt. 2 weeks, Sarah? That's it, I said. She moved in that night. She didn't bring suitcases, she brought boxes of junk. Within 48 hours, my clean, minimalist living room was covered in her fast food wrappers and laundry. But that was just the surface. The real trouble started a week in. I came home from work to find a stranger in my kitchen. A guy named Jax with a neck tattoo, drinking my expensive bourbon. Who is this? I asked, dropping my briefcase. Oh, this is Jax. He's a producer, Sarah chirped, not looking up from her phone. He's helping me with some projects. I pulled Sarah into the bathroom. Sarah, I told you, no guests. I work 10-hour days. I need my house to be quiet. And who is this guy? You're being so judgmental, Jenna, she snapped. I'm going through a crisis and you're worried about your bourbon? Fine. He'll leave. He didn't leave. For the next week, Sarah and Jax were in my apartment 24/7. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. to the sound of them arguing or playing music. When I tried to talk to her, she'd cry and bring up my mom. Your mom would be so disappointed to see how selfish you've become, she'd say. It was a knife to the heart every time. Then came the missing money. I keep an emergency fund, $2,000 in cash hidden in a hollowed-out book in my bookshelf. It's my in case of fire money. I went to check it on Friday because I needed to pay my car insurance. The book was empty. I confronted Sarah. She went pale, then immediately went on the offensive. I had to pay for my car repairs. I was going to put it back. Why are you checking up on me like I'm a criminal? I thought we were sisters. That was my rent money, Sarah. I have to pay the landlord by the 1st. I'll get it to you, she promised. Jax is getting a payout for a beat he sold. I'll have $3,000 for you by Tuesday. Tuesday came and went. No money. No Jax. Just Sarah, locked in the guest room, refusing to come out. On Wednesday, I got a call from my office. My boss, a senior partner at the firm, sounded livid. Jenna, we've had a complaint from the building manager at your apartment complex. Apparently, there's been illegal activity and constant noise complaints linked to your unit. They're threatening to involve the firm because your name is on the lease as a legal professional. You need to handle this. Now, I rushed home, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. I was going to kick her out. I didn't care about the history or my mom or the guilt. I was done. But when I pulled into the parking lot, I saw a police cruiser and my landlord, Mr. Henderson, standing by the stairs. Jenna, Mr. Henderson said, his face red with anger. You're lucky we didn't call the cops sooner. Your sister told us you were the one selling the prescriptions we found in the trash chute. She said she was just staying here, trying to help you get clean. I felt the world tilt. Sarah was standing behind him, looking like a bruised angel, wiping a fake tear from her eye. I'm so sorry, Jenna, she whimpered. I couldn't lie for you anymore. I told them you needed help. She had flipped the script. To save herself from the noise complaints and whatever Jax was doing, she had branded me, the girl with the clean record and the legal career, as the problem. I'm initiating an emergency eviction, Mr. Henderson said. You have 24 hours to get your essentials. The locks are being changed tomorrow, and I've already sent a formal letter to your employer." I looked at Sarah. She didn't look guilty. She looked relieved. She had burned my house down just to keep herself warm for another night. I didn't even get my $2,000 back. I didn't get my job back. They fired me that afternoon to protect the firm's reputation. Now, I'm sitting in my Honda Civic. My laptop, my favorite coat, and a photo of my mom are in the back seat. I have $14 in my bank account and nowhere to go. I just saw Sarah post a story on Instagram. She's at a bar with Jax. The caption? "Finally cut the toxic energy out of my life. Fresh starts only." They don't tell you how loud the world is when you're sleeping in a car. Every footstep on the pavement sounds like a threat, and every passing siren feels like it's coming for you. I spent my first night in a Walmart parking lot, clutching a tire iron and watching the battery percentage on my phone drop like a countdown. My bank account has $14. My professional reputation is a smoking crater, and the only person who can fix this is currently wearing my favorite leather jacket in a selfie with the man who helped her rob me. The first 48 hours of homelessness are a blur of humiliation. You don't realize how much of your dignity is tied to a shower and a locked door until both are gone. I woke up at 6 a.m. on Thursday to a security guard tapping on my window. "Move it along, miss." "No overnighting," he said, not even looking me in the eye. To him, I wasn't a paralegal with a degree. I was just a loiterer in a 2018 Honda. I drove to a gym, the one membership I hadn't canceled yet, just to use the locker room. I scrubbed my skin until it was red, trying to wash off the smell of car. I put on my best blazer, the one I used to wear for court filings, and sat in a Starbucks with their free Wi-Fi. I had to find a job. Fast. But Sarah had been thorough. When I opened my email, I had a message from the HR department at my old firm. Subject: Termination and Conduct Review. Jenna, per the police report filed by your landlord and the testimony provided by your cohabitant, we are flagging your file for conduct unbecoming of a legal professional. We cannot provide a positive reference at this time. My heart sank. She hadn't just gotten me fired. She had salted the earth. In the legal world, a conduct flag is a death sentence. I scrolled through my phone, looking for anyone who could help. My friends from the firm had already unfollowed me. Word travels fast in Charlotte. I saw a group chat I was in, the girls' night group. Someone had shared a screenshot of Sarah's post about toxic energy. "OMG, Jenna, I'm so disappointed in you," one girl had replied. "Sarah told me everything. I hope you get the help you need." Nobody asked for my side. They just believed the girl who cried the loudest. By noon, the hunger started to set in. $14 doesn't go far. I bought a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter from a dollar store. I sat in my car, eating a dry sandwich, and watched Sarah's Instagram stories. She was at a boutique downtown. She was holding up a dress that cost more than my monthly car payment. "Treating myself after a hard week." The caption read. I knew where that money came from. That was my in case of fire cash. She was literally wearing my survival fund. I felt a surge of rage so hot it made my vision blur. I wanted to drive to that boutique, scream the truth, and tear that dress off her back. But I couldn't. If I got arrested, I'd lose the car. And the car was the only thing keeping me off the actual sidewalk. I spent the afternoon applying for under-the-table jobs, waitressing, cleaning, anything that wouldn't run a background check. But even the local diner wanted a permanent address. "I'm between places right now," I told the manager of a greasy spoon on the outskirts of town. He looked at my blazer, then at my car parked out front with trash bags in the back. He gave me a look of pity that felt worse than a slap. "I can't hire you without a home address for the tax forms, honey. Sorry." As the sun began to set, I realized I had nowhere to go. The gym was closing. The library was closing. I drove to a park near the outskirts, parked under a broken street lamp, and tried to sleep. But then my phone buzzed. It was a message from a number I didn't recognize. "Unknown, is this Jenna? I'm Jax's ex-girlfriend." I saw Sarah's post. "I know she's staying at a motel on Highway 16. If you want your stuff back, you better go tonight. She's planning on leaving for Atlanta in the morning." And Jenna? She did the same thing to me. She isn't just a messy friend. She's a professional. I stared at the screen. Sarah wasn't just a disaster. She was a predator. She looked for stable, lonely people like me. People who felt guilty about their own success. And she picked them clean. I looked at my $14. I looked at the tire iron on the passenger floor. I put the car in drive. I wasn't going to spend another night crying in a parking lot. If I was going down, I was taking Sarah's fresh start down with me. This is the final chapter. Part 3 covers the gritty reality of a desperate confrontation, the truth behind the scam, and the slow, difficult climb back toward a life that finally belongs to Jenna alone. Part 3, the price of the truth. The neon sign for the Sunset motor flickered with a rhythmic hum that sounded like a heartbeat. I sat in my car, the engine off, watching room 114. This was it. I didn't have a plan, a lawyer, or a backup. I just had the cold realization that if I didn't stand up for myself now, I would be a ghost for the rest of my life. Sarah was inside, probably packing my $2,000 worth of dreams into a suitcase, and I was done being her safety net. I didn't knock. I knew the management at places like this didn't care about guests, so I walked straight to the window. The curtain was thin. Inside, I saw Sarah. She wasn't crying. She was laughing, tossing my expensive leather boots into a duffel bag while Jack sat on the bed, counting a stack of cash that I knew was mine. I felt a cold, sharp clarity. I pulled out my phone and hit record. I walked to the door and pounded on it. "Sarah, open the door. I know you're in there." The laughter stopped instantly. I heard whispering, the frantic scuffle of feet. Then, the door opened just a crack. Sarah looked out, her face instantly morphing into that victim mask she wore so well. "Jenna? Oh my God, what are you doing here? You're scaring me," she whimpered, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. "Cut the act, Sarah," I said, stepping forward so she couldn't close the door. "I talked to Jax's ex. I know the routine. The creepy landlord, the bad breakup, the stolen meds. It's a script. You move in, you bleed people dry, and you move to the next city before they can call the cops." Jax stood up, towering over her. "Beat it, girl. You're trespassing." "Am I?" I held up my phone. "I've been recording since I got out of the car." "And Sarah?" I sent a link to this live stream to my old boss at the firm. "If you don't give me my money and my bag right now, the police, who are already on their way for a domestic disturbance call, are going to find that stash of pills Jax is hiding in his jacket." I was bluffing about the cops being on their way, but I wasn't bluffing about the recording. Sarah's face changed. The angel disappeared, replaced by something sharp and ugly. "You think you're so smart? You're homeless, Jenna. You're a drug addict with a fired file at a law firm. Who's going to believe you?" "The people who see the cash you're holding," I said, pointing to the stack in Jax's hand. "That cash has my bank's wrapper on it. My fingerprints are all over those bills. Want to bet yours aren't?" Jax looked at the money, then at Sarah. He wasn't loyal. He was a predator just like her. He didn't want a police interaction. He tossed my duffel bag out onto the pavement and shoved the stack of money into Sarah's chest. "Handle your business," he spat, grabbing his own bag and heading for the back window. He was gone before she could even scream his name. Sarah stood there, holding my money, looking at me with pure hatred. She realized the game was over in this city. She threw the crumpled bills at my face. "Take it," she hissed. "You're still a loser, Jenna. You're still sleeping in a car." "Maybe," I said, picking up my money in my bag. "But I'm sleeping in my car. And tomorrow, I'm taking this recording to the landlord and the police. You have 10 minutes to disappear before the real cops get here." She didn't wait 10 minutes. She was gone in 5. The aftermath. It wasn't a movie ending. I didn't get my apartment back. The eviction was already processed, and the conduct flag at my firm took months to resolve. I spent 3 more weeks living in that Honda Civic, parked outside a different gym every night. But I had my $2,000. I used that money to get a tiny, bottom-floor studio in a town 2 hours away where nobody knew Sarah's lies. I took a job as a secretary for a small real estate office. It wasn't paralegal at a top firm, but it paid the bills. I eventually got a letter from my old boss. He had watched the video. He didn't offer me my job back. The firm was too corporate to admit they were wrong. But he did send me a glowing letter of recommendation and a check for my unused vacation days. It was his way of saying, "Sorry we ruined your life." 1 year later, I'm sitting in my new apartment. It's small, and the furniture is all from thrift stores, but the locks are heavy and the guest room is now an office with a door that stays closed. I checked Sarah's name on a public records site the other day. She was arrested in Georgia for grand larceny. She tried the same scam on a guy who turned out to be an undercover cop. I don't feel happy about it. I just feel nothing. The loneliness didn't end overnight. It took a long time to trust the sound of a knock on the door again. But the quiet I have now isn't the empty quiet of being lost. It's the peaceful quiet of being safe. I still have that tire iron under my bed. Not because I'm afraid, but because it reminds me of the night I stopped being a victim and started being the author of my own story.